You've been searching for her all your life. Not her, exactly, but the feeling she once gave you. The warmth that made your chest loosen, the quiet that made the noise stop. You've been chasing it through faces, names, and fleeting nights, calling it love. But if you're honest, it was never love you were chasing. It was relief. Relief from the ache of being unseen. Relief from the emptiness that whispers when the world goes quiet. You thought finding someone would silence it. That maybe, if you loved hard enough, gave deep enough, someone would finally stay. Someone would finally see the boy you used to be, the one who just wanted to be enough. But the harder you searched, the further it slipped away. Because love isn't something you find. It's something that finds you once you've stopped running from yourself. And that's the paradox no one tells you. Real love appears not when you need it, but when you no longer need it to fill the void. It comes quietly, without fireworks or desperation. It doesn't ask you to prove your worth. It meets you where you already stand, whole, unchained, unsearching. The chase was never for love. It was for healing. And the cruel mercy of life is this. You won't find what's real until the illusion collapses, until you finally look in the mirror and say, I don't need saving anymore. That's when love finds you, not the kind that completes you, the kind that reflects you. It always begins with silence. Not the peaceful kind, the hollow kind, the kind that follows after she's gone, when the echoes of her laughter still haunt the corners of your apartment. You look at the space she used to fill the side of the bed, the toothbrush beside yours, the playlist you can't bring yourself to delete. It feels like grief, but sharper, because she's not dead. She's just somewhere else, breathing the same air, maybe smiling at someone new. And you, my friend, are left with the wreckage. Days blur together. You replay every word, every argument, every silence between you, searching for the exact moment she stopped reaching back. You blame yourself, then blame her, then blame fate. You tell yourself it shouldn't hurt this much, that you're stronger than this. But at 2 a.m., when the world sleeps, your mind drags you back to the memories you swore you'd buried. You scroll through photos, pretending it's closure. You draft messages you'll never send. You convince yourself that if she saw the new you, she'd come back. But what you're really doing is begging the past to love you again, begging an illusion to return. This is the fall not just of love, but of illusion. The collapse of the story you built, the identity you shaped around her presence. It's not her absence that hurts the most. It's the emptiness that reminds you how much of yourself you gave away trying to keep her. And in that silence, in that hollow ache, something deeper begins to whisper. A question you've avoided your entire life. Who am I without the chase? Every collapse hides a mechanism, a pattern repeating itself, disguised as fate. It's not the woman that breaks you, it's what she represents. See, you never chased her. You chased the version of yourself you believed she could unlock. The confident man, the desired man, the man finally free from the quiet ache of not being enough. She was never the destination. She was the mirror. That's the hidden mechanism attachment, not the healthy kind that grows from mutual trust, but the wounded kind that grows from fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of insignificance. You called it chemistry. You called it destiny. But really, it was two nervous systems trying to heal each other through chaos. You mistook intensity for connection, her unpredictability for depth, her validation for love. And in every silence, every withdrawal, every moment she pulled away, you felt the panic rise, not because she was leaving, but because the part of you that depends on her approval was being starved. You weren't addicted to her. You were addicted to the feeling she gave you, the temporary escape from your own emptiness. Psychologists call it anxious attachment. Philosophers call it desire. Both are the same disease, the illusion that something outside of you can make you whole. It's why love becomes obsession. Why kindness turns into control. Why peace never lasts. Because your peace was never yours to begin with. You've been seeking completion through connection, instead of presence through solitude. And until you see that, you'll keep mistaking emotional hunger for love. Real love doesn't feed your wounds. It makes you forget you ever had them. Most men believe love is earned, that if you give enough, protect enough, stay loyal enough, she'll stay. It's the illusion we're conditioned with since boyhood. Good men get chosen. So you give. You overgive. You pour yourself into someone's emptiness, hoping she'll see your worth reflected back. You play the savior, the steady one, the anchor. But in doing so, you become something else entirely predictable. And predictable, to the unhealed feminine, feels like suffocation. You confuse her chaos for need, her inconsistency for vulnerability. You think, if I can just love her harder, she'll calm down. But love doesn't fix instability. It only exposes it. Here's the blind spot: you keep trying to earn something that cannot be earned. Respect, attraction, peace. You believe your devotion will inspire her growth, that your patience will awaken her love. But that's not how polarity works. The more you chase, the less she feels. The more you sacrifice, the more she withdraws. Not because she's cruel, but because your energy tells her you've abandoned yourself. And no woman, consciously or not, can trust a man who's left his center. You think being good will protect you. But love doesn't respond to goodness, it responds to truth. Truth in your boundaries. Truth in your silence. Truth in your willingness to walk away when something violates your peace. Most men learn this too late, when she's already gone, and you're left wondering why being enough never worked. It's because love isn't a transaction. It's recognition, and she can't recognize you if you've already disappeared trying to keep her. Truth 1. You can't heal in the same place. You lost yourself. There's a law in emotional reality that most men resist. You cannot rebuild your soul in the same place you shattered it. Every time you go back, whether in thought, in longing, or in person, you reopen the wound you're trying to close. You tell yourself it's closure, that maybe things will be different this time. But beneath that hope lies a quiet truth: you're still trying to be chosen. The mind tricks you into believing that healing requires understanding her, that if you just figure out why she changed, why she left, why she stopped loving you, the ache will fade. But that's not healing, that's bargaining, a desperate attempt to rewrite a story that already ended. Here's the first immutable truth: you can't heal in the same place you lost yourself, because the environment that broke you still speaks the language of your old wounds. The smells, the sounds, the conversations, they all pull you back into who you were when you loved her. And that man doesn't exist anymore. Healing begins when you stop negotiating with your pain, when you stop expecting the past to offer you peace, when you finally accept that closure isn't something she gives, it's something you decide. That decision hurts. It feels like betrayal at first, walking away from the ghost of what you wanted. But slowly, as the distance grows, something sacred emerges. Space. Space to breathe. Space to rebuild. Space where her name stops echoing inside your chest and your own voice returns. That's the beginning of real healing, when silence becomes sanctuary instead of punishment, and when solitude no longer feels like loss, but liberation. Truth 2. The feminine mirrors, it doesn't complete. There's another law few men understand, one that turns heartbreak into awakening. The feminine does not complete you. It reveals you. Every woman you've ever loved has been a mirror, reflecting back the parts of yourself you've refused to meet. The needy one, the controlling one, the little boy still trying to earn his mother's approval through someone else's affection. That's why her moods confused you. Why her pull and push dynamic tore you apart. She wasn't trying to destroy you, she was mirroring your inner conflict. Your desire to be strong while still afraid to be alone. Your need for control disguised as love. Your longing for peace while being addicted to chaos. See, the feminine is chaos, not in a destructive sense, but in a primal one. It moves, it flows, it tests. It doesn't respond to your words, it feels your energy. If you are centered, she relaxes. If you are lost, she mirrors your instability tenfold. Most men mistake this reflection for rejection. They believe her withdrawal means they've failed. But in truth, she's just showing you where you've abandoned yourself. This is where the second truth lives. Women don't complete men, they reveal where men must grow. Her inconsistency tests your stillness. Her emotion tests your containment. Her love tests whether you can stay rooted when the storm arrives. It's not about control, it's about energy. When you stand in your truth, her waves don't drown you, they wash you clean. When you cling, you sink. When you let go, you float. She was never meant to save you. She was meant to show you what still needs saving within. Truth 3. A man becomes whole in his solitude. The world teaches men to chase success, love, validation. It tells you that stillness is weakness, that solitude is loneliness. But the truth is the opposite. A man only becomes whole when he stops running. In the silence of solitude, everything you've avoided begins to surface. The grief, the shame, the buried voices you drowned out with work, sex, or distraction. At first, it feels unbearable, like standing in a storm with no shelter. But stay there long enough and you begin to notice something. The storm was never outside you, it was within. When you strip away the noise, her voice, the expectations, the constant reaching, you meet the one person you've neglected most, yourself. And for the first time, you listen. That's the third immutable truth. A man doesn't find peace through love. He becomes capable of love through peace. Without solitude, your love will always come from need. With solitude, it flows from overflow. This is why monks retreat to mountains, why warriors walk alone before battle, because solitude forges clarity. It teaches you to draw strength from stillness, to sit with emptiness without trying to escape it. And when you can do that, when your mind no longer trembles in silence, you become untouchable. A man who is at home within himself doesn't beg for connection. He attracts it naturally, because his presence feels like safety. He doesn't chase, because what he seeks already lives inside him. And in that stillness, in that deep, grounded solitude, something sacred returns. You stop searching for love, and love begins searching for you. Now comes the hardest part, the confrontation. Not with her, not with the world, with yourself. Look closely, brother. How many times have you fallen for the same story, different face, same ending? How many times have you called it love, when it was really fear disguised as devotion? You said you wanted connection, but what you really wanted was relief. Relief from the noise in your head, from the self-doubt that whispers, you're not enough unless someone chooses you. You built temples to women who never asked to be worshipped. You handed them the responsibility of healing wounds they didn't create. And every time it ended, you said, "She broke me." But the truth is, you were already broken. She just revealed where. This is the mirror, and it doesn't lie. It shows you your patterns, the chasing, the overthinking, the self-abandonment masked as loyalty. It shows you the boy inside the man, the one who learned that love must be earned through sacrifice. Ask yourself, honestly, why do you still chase what broke you? Why do you call it passion when it's really a pattern? Why do you crave intensity when peace is what you actually need? Sit with these questions, even when they sting. Because behind every ache is an invitation to grow beyond the version of you that keeps repeating the same story. You don't heal by blaming her. You heal by seeing yourself clearly, compassionately, and without illusion. That's when the mirror becomes a guide instead of a tormentor. That's when awareness becomes freedom. Awareness without action becomes another form of escape. You can read, reflect, and philosophize all you want, but healing begins when you start living differently, when you stop performing peace and start embodying it. So here is the path, not a set of rules, but a framework for rebuilding the man beneath the wreckage. Call it the silence protocol. Step 1. Withdraw completely. No texts, no check-ins, no digital breadcrumbs. You don't heal by staying connected to what broke you. You heal by reclaiming the energy you've been leaking into the past. Step 2. Reflect daily. Write, meditate. Sit in stillness until the thoughts stop rushing in like waves. Ask yourself the real questions, not about her, but about you. What did I seek in her that I denied in myself? What pain did I try to outsource to love? Step 3. Discipline the body, master the mind. Lift, run, breathe. The body becomes a vessel for groundedness. Every rep, every breath, every drop of sweat is a prayer to your future self. Pain transforms into power when it's directed. Step 4. Rebuild around purpose. Love cannot be your only compass. A man anchored in purpose becomes immune to emotional chaos. Build something that outlives the memory of her. A mission, a craft, a discipline that refines you. Step 5. Return to the world slowly. Not to prove you've healed, but because you've found peace in solitude. Now, connection becomes a choice, not a craving. This is the rebirth of the masculine spirit, calm, rooted, untouchable. You don't chase anymore. You attract by being everything you once sought in someone else. Something changes after the silence. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly like dawn breaking through fog. You wake up one morning and the weight in your chest isn't there. You don't rush to check your phone. You don't scroll through memories disguised as photos. You just breathe deeply, freely, and for the first time, it feels like enough. The ache becomes a whisper. The longing becomes space. You begin to notice things again, the way sunlight hits the floor, the sound of your footsteps when you walk alone. Solitude no longer stings. It steadies you. This is the moment every man must face the rebirth that doesn't come with celebration, but with calm. No applause, no audience. Just you, becoming new in the quiet. You start to understand that love was never meant to complete you. It was meant to reflect what was already whole. And as you rebuild yourself piece by piece, something sacred happens. You stop chasing what's fleeting, and you start attracting what's real. You no longer crave to be chosen because you've chosen yourself. You no longer fear being alone because solitude has become strength. The past stops defining you. The future stops haunting you. You simply exist fully, presently, without the ache to escape. That's what rebirth feels like. Not fireworks, not redemption, just peace, quiet, grounded, unwavering peace. And that peace is what love recognizes. Because love, real love, is drawn to wholeness. And when you reach that state, it doesn't feel like you've found love at all. It feels like love finally found you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." You used to think the heartbreak was an obstacle. Now you understand it was the path itself. Every wound, every disappointment, every night you lay awake replaying what went wrong was a lesson written in the language of pain. You weren't being punished. You were being refined. Seneca said that the fire tests gold and adversity tests the brave. Heartbreak is that fire. It burns away illusion, the illusion that love can fix what only self-awareness can. It destroys the false self, the one built on performance, on being the good man, the savior, the pleaser, and in its ashes, what remains is truth. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the painful shedding of what is not authentic. To love consciously, you must first face your shadow, the parts of you that cling, manipulate, or demand affection to feel alive. Until then, every relationship becomes a stage for reenacting your childhood wounds. But when you finally see, when you stop searching outside and start integrating within, love becomes something else entirely. Not a negotiation, but a natural flow. Not a dependency, but a shared peace. You realize that what you once called heartbreak was really initiation, the initiation into true manhood, not defined by control or conquest, but by emotional sovereignty. Nietzsche once said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star." And maybe that's what all this pain was for, to turn your chaos into clarity, to strip you down until only the essential remained, until you no longer needed to find love, because you had finally become it. There's a moment quiet, still, almost imperceptible when you stop waiting. You stop scanning faces for familiarity. You stop measuring your worth by who stays or leaves. And in that moment, something miraculous happens. You feel whole, not complete because someone chose you, complete because you chose yourself. Love no longer feels like a finish line. It feels like the echo of a peace you've already found. You begin to understand love was never hiding out there in the world. It was dormant within you, waiting for stillness to awaken it. When you stop searching, you stop striving. And when you stop striving, you start seeing life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Seeing people for who they are, not for how they can fill your void. Real love doesn't enter with fireworks or promises. It arrives softly, without demand. It doesn't take from you, it expands you. And when it comes, you'll recognize it, not because it completes you, but because it feels like home, in a house you finally built yourself. So stop searching, my brother. Stop chasing ghosts. Be still, be whole, be here. Because the truth is simple and eternal. Real love only finds you when you no longer need it to. And when it does, you'll know. Not because it changes your world, but because it quietly mirrors the peace you've already become.